Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for News Leader 9 at 6. I'm Barbara Goche.
And I'm Jason Dennis.
We're going to start tonight with that breaking news happening just in the last hour. Apparently, an arrest has been made now in that armed robbery at a bank in Columbus.
Police have been searching for the gunman in that robbery, which happened at the Regions on Veterans Parkway. That's where we find our Brittany Dion. She joins us live from the scene. Brittany, what can you tell us about the suspect and this arrest late today?
Well, Jason and Barbara, we were there when police apprehended a white male right across the street from the Regions Bank. He had on a gray shirt. They say, and witnesses tell us they saw them pull money out of his pockets and place it on top of the police cruiser. Now, they just left the area with the suspect. As you can see right here, police are still on the scene here at the Regions Bank. They are still investigating this case. Now, they haven't talked to us about who exactly that man is or how he is connected to this case, but some of the details we do know is that a white male who appeared to be in his 40s barged into the Regions Bank here with a gun demanding money, and now they tell us that he did get away with an unspecified amount of money in that robbery. Now, of course, we're going to stay here on the scene and get details for you at home as soon as they become available. For now, I'm live in Columbus at the Regions Bank on Veterans Parkway. Brittany Dion, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, thank you so much, Brittany, for that live report. We turn now to a story that's sweeping the nation this week: same-sex marriage. So far today, the U.S. Supreme Court has cleared the way for the state of Nevada, adding it to the list of 5 other states this week where same-sex marriages have been allowed to go forward. So could it happen in Georgia? News Leader 9's Sarah Lim spoke with a pastor of a Columbus church and a spokesperson from Chattahoochee Valley Pride Center.
I don't know. We could have it all 50 states within the next 5 years. Just the way it's moving, it astounds me.
On Monday, the Supreme Court denied appeals from 5 states looking to keep their bans on same-sex marriage. As of now, roughly 30 states allow gay marriages. Emily Bell with Forgiving Hearts Church says she's especially excited about what's happening in South Carolina right now.
To have a southern state, so the other southern states will probably follow pretty quickly. So I think it's going to come a lot faster than I ever dreamed.
A judge in South Carolina started accepting marriage applications from same-sex couples on Wednesday morning, despite the state's ban on gay marriage. Andrew Dennis with Chattahoochee Valley Pride Center says he hopes to see more southern states start accepting same-sex marriages as well.
Why can't the South? And so I'm just hoping that the South will be able to realize that, you know, it's coming, but 1 state, 10 states, now 30 states. I think it's getting closer and closer for the whole United States to be legalizing gay marriage.
On Wednesday, the U.S. Supreme Court lifted a stay of same-sex marriage ruling for Nevada, but in Idaho, gay marriage was still put on hold. Despite some obstacles, Emily Bell says she's glad to see these changes continue to happen, and she hopes same-sex marriage will soon be legal in Georgia as well.
When I came out in 1972, never dreamed it would be legal anywhere. What we're getting is basic human rights, declared same citizen, first-class citizen with the rest of the nation. Because without that benefit, we're second-class citizens, and that's not fun. I've had to live with that now for 30, 40 years.
And we asked you what you think about the Supreme Court's decision to not hear cases appealing same-sex marriages. And if you think more states will feel pressured now to overturn their marriage bans, voice your opinion by heading over to our website at WTVM.com. In the studio, I'm Sarah Lim for WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Well, tonight, the Lee County jury that convicted Desmonte Leonard of capital murder is deciding a recommendation of life in prison or the death penalty to the judge. News Leader 9's Elizabeth White explains what happened in court today as a half-dozen family and friends of the now convicted killer begged the jury for mercy. Elizabeth?
Well, certainly it was an emotional day in court as Desmonte Leonard, now a convicted killer, listened as his friends and family basically begged this jury to spare his life. Leonard's sister, Sharara Leonard, testified their father was in prison and not around as they were growing up, and their mother beat them severely as children. She says her brother did try to protect his siblings, and she was crying as she asked the jurors to, quote, please grant him life without parole. He has a 2-year-old daughter he hasn't even seen. He has a family that stands behind him. If you could just talk talk with him, you would see he is not a monster. Leonard has at least 2 children by 2 women, both mothers asking the jury today to spare his life as well, saying he was a loving and a helpful father. Leonard has never seen his 2-year-old little girl because the mother was pregnant at the time of this deadly shooting. Now, most every family and friend who testified today expressed their apologies and their sorrow to the victims' families. But when one of Leonard's relatives asked the victims' families to try to find it in their hearts to forgive Leonard, a lot of them shook their head no, as if to say they are not ready to offer forgiveness at this time. Now, keep in mind, under Alabama law, jurors will not hear victim impact statements from the families of the 3 men that Leonard killed back in June of 2012 at the University Heights apartment complex. The judge, however, will hear victim impacts, and he will also take this jury's recommendation into consideration when he ultimately makes the final decision on Leonard's sentence. We do expect more testimony tomorrow and the recommendation from the jury as well tomorrow, and of course we'll keep you updated. For now, reporting live outside the Lee County Justice Center, Elizabeth White, WTVM News Leader 9.
Well, our weather remains warm out there across the valley. Temperatures soaring into the 80s once again today. Some spots near 90, 87 in Columbus, 87 in Union Springs, and 88 right now down in the city of Eufaula. Now, to our north, we're watching some showers and some stronger storms as well. These are very widely scattered across North Alabama and North Georgia, and they're not moving very much at the moment. Now, typically these showers and storms should weaken after sunset, so it doesn't appear we're going to get a lot of these down in our neck of the woods before that happens. We'll still keep an eye on it for you. Here's the rest of your evening forecast. Don't forget, you can download this by searching for the WTVM weather app in your phone's app store. Just search for WTVM weather there. You can get this hour-by-hour breakdown of the forecast as well as our interactive radar. Now, coming up here over the next few days, some big weather changes coming up. We're going to stay hot, mostly dry, but next week a cold front will be doing here. We'll show you all that coming up in your 7-day planner later in the show.
All right, thanks, Derek. The first patient diagnosed with Ebola in the United States has died. Doctors initially treated 42-year-old Thomas Eric Duncan for his flu-like sickness, and he was released from a hospital in Dallas. Days later, he was readmitted to Dallas Presbyterian Hospital and never recovered. Now the CDC pushes airports to the front of the line of the battle against the virus. Newsletter 9's Tyrone McCoy is in our newsroom now with details on that plan and what's happening in Columbus. Tyrone?
Yeah, Jason, 5 international airports across the country will begin temperature and travel history screenings for passengers, and it's expected to start this weekend. Now, the screenings are the CDC's latest move to fight the spread of Ebola. It's a potential risk the city leaders here in Columbus say they will work with local health agencies to reduce in the Fountain City.
We know how to isolate an area. We know how to stand watch and can stand watch over an area, and we also have the EMS expertise, of course, to go in and transport if necessary. So we can assist the healthcare organizations who know exactly what to do once you come inside their walls.
Now, though the screenings are not expected to come to Columbus, they will be at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, which is where regional flights in and out of Columbus connect. Now, the temperature screenings are expected to start this coming Saturday at JFK Airport in New York, and we're told they will start at Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta sometime next week. For now, in the newsroom, Tyrone McCoy, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, Tyrone, thank you. And Alabama's governor and state health officers also preparing in case of an Ebola spread. Governor Robert Bentley said toolkits have been sent to all of the state's hospitals that will help medical professionals diagnose possible Ebola patients and help protect staff. Officials with the Alabama Department of Public Health and the Alabama Hospital Association say hospitals have been set up with separate areas so that those who are potentially affected are not waiting in emergency rooms. Well, coming up here on News Leader 9, 2 hotly contested races in Georgia go before a crowd of rowdy fairgoers. Next on the News at 6, what the gubernatorial candidates had to say about some of the state's biggest issues.
Plus, a high school's football season is canceled. We'll tell you where and why bullies are to blame. That's coming up on the News at 6.